open now, so everybody potting from one place to another.
Is this the winter or the summer? I think it's the summer.
It's in summer now, yeah.
Because it's a massive move.
Okay, now still talking the riders under that caption. Delta Assembly Speaker, 21 others defect to APC.
Delta Assembly.
Delta Assembly Speaker, 21 others defect to APC. And Edo Assembly Speaker, others dump PDP for APC. I actually saw that one coming, so I wasn't surprised that every member, all the members...
you know the chairman already did this.
Yes. We'll talk about that in the course of the program too. Now, Nigeria's first policy, long-awaited relief to manufacturers, MAN. Those are the headlines on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Moving to the Guardian newspaper, still talking about insecurity. How insecurity, middlemen drive up rice prices, force mill shut down.
Isn't that the ones the Yorubas call Alagbata, Abi?
Abi, but they're just talking about, in this report, they're talking about the middlemen.
The middlemen are the Alagbata.
The input of the middlemen coupled with insecurity.
Yeah, the middlemen go and buy in bulk.
Yeah, definitely.
They have the capital. And then they dispense to, those who want to buy 20 bags and all of that. And then it becomes expensive.
Okay, still talking about insecurity. Boko Haram, now deadlier, uses weaponized drones, say Borno reps. Page 5 of The Guardian has that scary story. Another one, still on insecurity. Senate grieves over Uromi, Gombe killings, set for security summit amid concerns. And moving away from that, Senate constitutes committee to oversee River Soul administrator. And still talking about defections, Delta Federal state lawmakers switch allegiance to APC as Tinubu meets Oborowore. And Peter Obi is in the news this morning. Why poverty is worsening in Nigeria by Peter Obi. Page 3 of The Guardian has that story. And this is coming from Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos State. Over 75% of Lagos food supply from other states, says Lagos State government. Taking a quick look at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, the biggest story says insecurity, Nigerians will revolt if action not taken. Reps and riders, there are 4 riders under the caption, question 19.7 trillion naira spent on security. Akpabio tasks senators on legislative action. Boko Haram returning stronger, Rep Jaha. And the last rider says, Presidency, National Security Advisor, Mum. Moving away from that, article to BOT women, that's the Board of Trustee women. I am not leaving PDP, saying Elo Fokonbale. I still remain in PDP and I'm not planning to move out of the PDP.
I saw that and there was some double speak, if not quadruple speak.
Okay, moving away. We'll talk about that in the course of the program. Sule Lamido defends zoning, says it's cure, not curse. And VDM, very dark man, is in the news this morning. VDM not told why he's being detained. The council and the rider, though granted bail, still in custody. And the last one I'll be taking on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. It says, Benue Assembly dares National Assembly, says its leadership won't honor invitation. It's still from the Dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM. Comrade AJISOPE is live in the studio with me together, and we will be taking the stories one after the other. Now, let's start from this state of insecurity in the nation, which takes center stage in virtually all the papers this morning. Looking at the account of the Vanguard newspaper, insecurity, Nigerians will revolt if action not taken. I mean, we've read about so many killings, all sorts of killings. Nigerians are living in a state of fear. And we've mentioned it on this platform on many occasions that Our security force is overwhelmed. It seems this insecurity is multifaceted. It has a hydra head.
Oh, certainly.
It
No
is.
doubt
It
about
has
that.
tentacles. So
Yeah.
how can this hydra heads be tackled?
I think the first thing is you just have to do a honest, brutally honest assessment. And you know the interesting thing?
What's that?
It is not the people, it is not the military that should do that. It is not the people fighting. They can make submissions, you understand?
Okay.
They can make submissions. But security experts, you understand? Military, non-military, but experts in various aspects and spheres of warfare or security and insecurity, because just like you said, multifaceted and hydra-headed specialists in each specific area. And I think the first thing is, intelligence, personnel, weaponry. And weaponry too is in different spheres. Weaponry for the Air Force, weaponry for the the motorized part of weaponry, and then the infantry, and then you have to the area of training too. What do they have?
Now let's break these things down into bits. Now let's start from intelligence.
Intelligence. That's what underpins.
Now,
security.
what is intelligence all about?
Intelligence is getting info. We call information.
Yeah. Okay.
But it becomes intelligence when it is in the hands of those who process it. You understand?
Okay.
And then it becomes actionable intelligence when it has been processed and found to be credible. And then you can deploy it for military purposes,
But-
either offensive or defensive.
But to the best of my knowledge, when you talk about intelligence, I think about Nigerians.
In warfare.
In warfare. Now, I think Nigerians, and to an extent, some people have come out to even point out the direction of this bandits and insurgents. We heard it on this platform like 2 weeks ago when the governor was saying that over 40 communities being, under the supervision of ISWAP. And we've had many cases of that. Looking at the Benue Plateau killing the other time, we heard the voices of some of the villagers saying that those herders, killer herders, were actually coming from a particular location
that they are occupying.
What can be more than that when it comes to intelligence? And nobody is going after those people.
It is assumed that people must know that they are there. If the locals know.
The locals know, and the
If
locals
the-
have given the information, which I understand that's the intelligence needed for the
yes.
security operatives to take action.
To take
But no
action.
action is being taken.
Yes, we also equally have information that there might, intelligence itself might be compromised. Our security personnel, whether the fighting forces, whether the intelligence people, they might be compromised. If a
So
president,
we can't rule out the kind of conspiracy or kind of allegiance between some of these bandits and
you don't rule out anything. You
okay.
don't rule out anything.
because it's beginning to look like that too
Well, from outside,
from outside.
from the sidelines where we're watching. Because if the locals know, for God's sake, the locals are not keeping quiet. They're saying it to people, and some people will, that's the way this thing travels.
And most of these insurgents and these bandits groups, we've seen videos where they carry out execution of members of maybe villagers or men of the military officers, and we've seen them dancing, rejoicing after every attack.
Yeah. We have had
What happens to surveillance being able to trace all these things? I saw one gory video 2 days ago. One of this attackers, killer headers, he had limbs. What do I call it now? The wrists
chopped off.
chopped off.
Like they did-
Someone,
like they used to do in
a
Sierra Leone.
human being's wrist chopped off, and he put it in his mouth.
And sucked the blood.
It wasn't. He put it. He held it with his teeth, and he had a gun, and he was dancing, and he was holding another a chopped off leg of another. It was a gory. You see all those things thriving, and nobody is making any move to locate where these videos are emanating from. And
Well-
Nigerians are dying on a daily basis.
Yes. You see some of those clips, I must say, I had to correct somebody. I think they just sent me a video, and in fact, twice. Somebody was going to, in fact, he was going to use it. And I said, this video clip is from 2013, and it was about insecurity. And the man that was going to use it was quite alive. This is from 2013. You know, a prominent Nigerian and all of that. But this is from 2013. How many years ago? That's 12 years ago. And it was still being circulated. So some of these things, yes, might be old.
Old, okay.
And they're just resurfacing because of, what is unfolding. Because that is why we must just always verify. But be that as it may, people, you see, effort. Put in any effort. People are not interested in your effort. People are only interested in outcome. People are only interested in result. And you have been deploying one particular word. Are they overwhelmed? Are they overwhelmed? Yes, when we say are they overwhelmed? Are they overwhelmed in terms of, that's gory. Are they overwhelmed in terms of numbers? Are they overwhelmed in terms of capabilities? The capability comes in terms of number, weaponry, and personnel. You understand? So, and it's not a regular warfare. I do not know, and I'm not so sure, the Nigerian military has adequately, adapted. And you see, the Air Force plays a most critical role in warfare. We started seeing that in the first Gulf War.
Okay.
It was, it was clear that, and anyway, even the Second World War was won by the Air Force. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was when the dynamics of warfare started changing. Not some infantry stuff. So the dynamics has changed. The dynamics started saying in 1945, and then by 1991, the first Iraqi war, the American forces, I remember, I'm never going to forget that night. They just rained Tomahawk missiles on Baghdad, incapacitating all the communication and command structure of Baghdad and the Iraqi military. So the dynamics of warfare has changed, and technology, for God's sake. Can you imagine this terrorist using weaponized?
Yeah, they're saying that the Boko Haram getting deadlier. They are now one of the
Weaponized
reps.
drones.
Boko Haram now deadlier. Use weaponized drones.
That's
More sophisticated weapons.
Remote warfare. That's remote warfare. You just load the weapons, and then you get the coordinates.
So where are these insurgents
getting
the funds to procure this automatic rifles, these weapons?
You know there's an international angle.
And our military are not getting that.
Who says they're not getting it? You see, there's something we must also critically examine in all of this. This is what they call the political will.
Oh, political will. Okay.
Yeah, the political will. I remember there was a president in this country, and that was General, I forgot, Minima. General Minima was the chief of army staff. He was almost prosecuted. He was reported at the war crimes or something. He fought Boko Haram. It was only Boko Haram then. It was reported he was going to be prosecuted. They had to, President Jonathan had to, tactically.
What was his offense?
He fought Boko Haram. He fought them ruthlessly.
Ruthlessly, I remember.
Yeah.
And that was his offense.
Yes, now.
Which was supposed to be his primary assignment.
Yes, now. So they said he applied tactics and all of that against war. What do you call it? Geneva Conventions and all of that. And so, political will. He got the backing. You understand? The requisite political will. And you see, if you are going to deceive ourselves, there's the political will. Maybe you had during the Buhari era, they will say body language. Body language of what? What body language?
Let's talk about the huge amount of funds being budgeted for security over the years. Because the reps are asking questions saying that they're questioning 19.7 trillion naira spent on security so far.
And divide it by 1,600 naira and see how much it amounts to. And
we're talking about 19.7 trillion naira.
As divided by 1,600 naira.
Are you saying it's not enough?
Let's start from dividing it by 1,600 and see how much weapon, the totality of that 19 trillion. I'm not even talking about remove cost of personnel, remove even the totality of that 19 trillion divided by 1,600 and see how many missiles or how many weaponized drones it can buy. We should not deceive ourselves. These things, look, and most of these things are expendables. What do you call this? Apache helicopter, and then there's this Hawk, another $110 million for one chopper. Multiply that by 1,600. How many of it are you going to get from? How many of it are you going to get from that 19 trillion that you are calling as if it's a lot of money?
But it's a huge amount of money, actually.
It's a huge amount of naira.
Oh, okay. I'm getting your point.
And we'll buy this stuff in foreign exchange. And then, where are we buying from? How are we buying? You understand? Third parties and all of that. Third parties, we cannot buy some of these things directly because we're engaging. So also, you remember during the days of what do you call him, Professor Obama? We had a lot of handicap. And what kind of air force do we have? What is the capability of our air force? I tell you that we have men that are trained. Very expensive to train in air force and all the military. Very expensive to train them. And of course, you go and offload some bombs. They cost money. You run an air force a fighter jet from Lagos to Kano. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just all those bombing runs.
Okay, so now the Nigerian senator stepped into this matter of insecurity, and there was a lengthy debate on the state of insecurity in the nation at the floor of the Senate yesterday. And one of the outcomes of that was that Senate proposed national summit on insecurity, that there should be a national summit must be convened to tackle this insecurity. But some senators were against the national summit, saying that there was no need for national. There are some other things that needed to be done instead of conducting a national summit. And one of the senators, we have Senator Abaribe and Senator Ningi, speaking against that national summit on insecurity. Let's take a listen to their voices. The first is the voice of Senator Abaribe, then followed by Senator Ningi.
Do we want to really be true to ourselves? And do we really want to be true to our calling here as senators? And the reason why I ask that is very simple, Mr. President. I have been here for a very long time. And for each session I've been here, we have had security summits. Each session. In fact, the last one, we were part of setting it up, and then we did everything. At the end of the day, nothing came out of it. So, there is no one of us here who does not know what is going on in his area. Do we want to be true and fair and say the truth about what is happening in this country? If we want to be true to ourselves, then we can go ahead with a summit, then we can deal with this matter. But if we're just going to stand up here to now make statements so that people will see us on television, then I want to profound, Mr. President, that we will just end up doing exactly what we have been doing, make statements, and nothing will come out of it.
If security is the only thing this National Assembly will achieve, then it is all will go home and dry. Mr. President, 2 years down the line, what can we say is our achievement as a parliament? How many times, Mr. President, have we interrogated committees on defense, committees on Navy, committee on Air Force, committee on police, committee on national security? These are committees that set out to achieve what the Constitution says we should achieve. Over the last 2 years, And you recall, Mr. President, too, when we were screening the service chiefs, here we raised a question, one of the questions that was raised to the Chief of Air Staff was, Chief of Air Staff, where is our Tucano? Where is our Tucano aircraft? Fighter jet. And you also recall, this Tucano was purchased by no less than $1 billion borrowed. And the answer given to the Parliament by the Chief of Air Staff was, Tucano is in our domain, but we can no longer use Tucano because they have signed a contract which limited the operations of this Tucano. If you know ab initio that this Tucano has limitations, inhibition for usage, why in the first instance did you buy them? How much did you buy them? Who ordered the contract? Who did the procurement? Where are the Tucanos physically? Mr. President, we cannot. We're having a divided.
Mr. Senator, you are protected.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, this issue of security is troubling. And day in, day out, we are losing our servicemen to this insurgent. Day in, day out, all across this country. It is not one state or the other. It is almost all the 36 states of the Federation. And I'm not going to stand up and claim that the president is doing his best. The only time that we can say the president is doing his best is when we interrogate the implementation of the 2023 appropriation, the implementation of the 2024 appropriation as it pertains to security. You recall, Mr. President, the National Security Advisor was invited last year, and he came forward and told us point blank that not enough appropriation was released to the security apparatus. We are here in the very comfortable confines of Abuja, but I can tell you, in a very short time, I'm not a pessimist, in a very short time, if care is not taken, these bandits that are running towns and villages in Benue, in Zamfara, in Sokoto, in Kebbi, are gradually moving into the close neighborhood of this city. Today, Mr. President, I can confirm to you authoritatively that you can no longer go to Kwali, go to Kubwa, and these suburbs beyond 9 to 10 o'clock in the evening because of fear of being taken away. And therefore, consequently, it is important, Mr. President, to acknowledge if we continue to keep on doing things without result and keep on doing them, we are not only deceiving ourselves, we are deceiving the people that sent us here to represent them. I am not sure whether the solutions has to do with creating a summit. First, Mr. President, we must be able to interrogate our committees in a session whether executive to come forward and inform us what goes into their budget 2023, 2024, 2025, and what comes out into the implementation of the budget. Secondly, I do not think it will be fair to the security chiefs if we just go ahead and do a security summit. We must interrogate them one by one, subjecting them to the findings of the appropriate standing committees. Committees are created to serve as liaison to the Senate. As a committee, you don't need to have an information and you sit on it. Sitting on it will not give you any desired effect. Once you have security reports and the security architecture of this country, you could visibly see they are getting overwhelmed. Lastly, Mr. President, in the course of the interrogation, let's find how many number of military personnel do you have? How many are in the Air Force? How many are in the Navy? How many are in the Army? How many are in the police? How many are in the Office of National Security Officer? How many are in the NIA? And so on and so forth. We can't sit down and begin to believe that when we speak big grammar, it will solve the problem. It is much, much more than that. And Mr. President, like I said, during the speech, your speech on the second session of the 10th Senate, the second session of the 10th Senate, this is a matter that you must lead. This is a matter that you must personally lead. It is not just enough.
All right, because of our time, I had to cut that short. That's the voice of Senator Abdul Nengi talking on the things that Senate need to do. And before that, you listen to the voice of Senator Abaribe. So, Kamri, let's talk about what these two senators have to say.
Yes, Senator Abaribe, former deputy governor. I mean, Emmanuel has been around for quite a while. A lot of political mileage and governance experience. Abdul Nengi, former member of House of Reps, been around for a while. Bold, just as bold, if not probably bolder than Abaribe, and he addressed the issues. How do you say you want to set up a national security
summit?
Summit. To what end? When you have standing committees of the Senate, of the House of Reps, about our security apparatus, not just the armed forces. You have the Committee on Army, Committee on Air Force, you have Committee on Navy, National Security Committee, all of this you have them. What is their function? Oversight. What is the constitutional mandate of the National Assembly? To make laws, to appropriate. And you know, the power of appropriation is, maybe they don't understand. The power of appropriation means this is the executive branch. We are the legislative branch. Okay, you want to spend money. This is the money we are giving you to spend. And this is how you must spend it. So those committees are to ensure that those monies are spent as prescribed in the Appropriation Act.
Okay.
So what have they been doing? What have they been doing? You are to oversight the army. When you are to oversight the army, you are to oversight the entire gamut of the army. You know, every department, every unit, and to ensure things. When you look at the budget, everything is there. It's not just one solid item and all of that. You can subpoena the National Assembly. Has the power to subpoena anybody, just like a court of law, to come and appear before it. But I am not so easy about drama. You want to call the National Security Summit? Who are you going to call there? Who are the people that will be there? Is a security issue? Is this something for the cameras? You understand? They will not start blame games, passing the ball. Like they were doing there. You were there. I was not there. I remember. I was there. You were there too. I was not there. You know, that's not security. And you see, I want to recall the president's inaugural speech. The president in his inaugural address said he was going to take a critical look and assessment of not just Nigeria's security architecture, but the doctrine. It is the doctrine that underpins the architecture. You have a design. Your design will be based on your philosophy. The design is the framework, which they call the architecture. But something underpins that architecture. What underpins our holistic? Is there a holistic security architecture that involves all the armed forces, and all the security agencies, working in synergy is there. And the president said he was going to look at the doctrine that underpins that. Yes, it's not for something for the cameras, but if it has happened or if it is happening, we'll have been hearing whispers, that some tricking or whatever is going on. You see, just like Abdul Ningi said, Kwali is just outside the, what do you call it, Abuja Municipal. That was actually where I served. At Kwali, that was where I served. NYSC FAR.
Okay.
That was where I served. So, it is just outside. It is just outside. And if you cannot go to Kwali...
And he said something. He said most of the communities some communities in Nigeria are already being taken over under the governance of these insurgent groups.
Damola?
In fact, there are some communities that are paying taxes, they are paying levies quietly to these bandits.
And that information is being suppressed.
Those communities have governors.
Yeah.
I mean, in the states.
So what do the governors? What do you expect the governors to do?
What is the role of service chiefs in all this?
Service chiefs.
Yes.
The military.
The chief of army staff
Who do they report to? They report to the commander-in-chief. That's what we call him, president commander-in-chief. And then you say governor, chief security officer. Where are the security people he controls? Amoteku. Amoteku. Apart from their vehicles and their dangers.
That's why I'm taking it off the governors now. I'm now asking the service chiefs. They can't say they are not aware of all this. Places that are under the siege of these bandits. And we have many communities that have been under the governance of these bandits and insurgents for many months now. Many months.
I worked in a location where we used to receive security reports every morning. And do you know what they always wrote? Cool and calm.
Before we leave this insecurity issue,
cool and calm,
like the questions many Nigerians are asking, how many Nigerians must die before the right things are done?
Yeah, that sounds like a Bob Marley song. How many rivers to go? You see, Yoruba say big. That is what Abdul Ningi is saying.
That very soon, this place we are even sitting as senators, we won't be able to come here.
Look, have they forgotten collective amnesia? Muhammadu Buhari was president. Our bandits ambushed the presidential guards within the precincts of Abuja municipality. They ambushed the presidential brigade of guards. They call them brigade of guards. Presidential guards were patrolling at night the precincts of Abuja. I won't forget that particular road where ambushed them. Can you imagine? So if they can ambush the brigade of guards, patrolling, their routine patrol, if bandits can ambush them, that's daring, that's their devilry. And they goes, let's hit them. Let's hit the villa. What protection does the villa have? Huh? Anti-this, anti-that. What protection does it have? Just joking.
All right, it's 11 minutes past 10 on Solutions and 93.9 FM. It's from the dailies. We're looking at the trending stories and the papers this morning. And moving away from insecurity, let's talk politics a bit. Like we said earlier on, it seems we are in a transfer window where politicians are moving from moving from one place to another. More PDP bigwigs desert opposition party for APC. But something happened yesterday. There was a wave of defections in Edo as well too, where the speaker, all the members of the House of Assembly there, all moved to the APC. And to welcome them, Adams Oshiomhole was there. Senator Adams Oshiomhole was there to welcome them. It was more of a fun fair. I wish I could show our listeners the dance steps Adams Oshiomhole gave at that venue. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen at what happened at the event yesterday.
The most distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The most distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Senator Comrade Adams hear you. Oshobaba.
Okay. Joy song. Dupa, Olua, eh. Joy song. Only a little more. Dupa, Olua, eh. Joy song. Dupa, Olua, eh. Joy song. Only a little more. Open never.
Thank you. I wanted to do some kurukere. Your Excellency, the distinguished Senator Monday Upeolo, who has been popularly christened as Akpako Rescue, and the governor who has reinvented our old culture of eye mark. Not government by ear mark, but eye mark. Not what you hear, but what you don't see. Not be so? So, Governor, when you become the father of a house, and children who left before become prodigal, they are returning home, it means they see a renewed hope in the father of the house. Today, as the governor of Edo State, by your actions, by your activities, not much by the spoken word, you have reassured all and sundry that the house you had as the governor has space, even for those who were coerced out of the party to return to the comfort of the family.
Adams Oshomole there, Senator Adams Oshomole at the parade, the rally to welcome new members into the APC. And some of those people that defected yesterday were Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, all the chairmen, local government chairmen, councillors, and leaders, all from the PDP, going to the APC.
Yeah, just like you said, the window is, the transfer window is open, and I guess this is the summer one, and it's massive, and APC. And specifically, Edo there, Adams Oshomole should be a happy man.
He is. Didn't you see his dance steps?
Yeah, those were his dance steps years ago when the going was, until he tampered with what do you call that man, Obaseki, and the people decided to support. People love to support the man that looks the weaker party. So the people decided to support Obaseki because they thought he was being oppressed. Ashomole wielded his power as national chairman, and he overreached himself. That what he did to Obaseki was. So he's a happy man. All these guys too were in APC before. You understand? It was only that wave, and then the miscalculation that occurred there. Overconfidence on Oshomole's part, and then the president did what he did and did one video clip from one, like a rose garden, and then people said, Edo no be Lagos. And that was it. So I think Edo, even when it was Bendel, had always been what I call a swing state.
Okay, swing in what essence now?
They will do APC, they did MPN, they did UPN, they moved to MPN, they went back to, I think they did UPN, then did MPN, they did PDP, then they moved to APC. So it's a swing state, and I think it is depicting its location between the southwest and the border between the southwest and the south side. Adams Oshomole should be a happy man, but like the Holy Book says, those who are standing, they should be careful. Okay,
they should be careful. Okay, let's go on this short commercial break. We'll be right back. It's still from the Daily Zone Solutions, 93.9 FM.
Hello there. Are you thinking of embarking on a journey to any country in Europe, America, South America, Asia, Australia, or wherever you may desire in the world for education, tourism, business, or what have you, and you are confused on how to go about it? You Fit Fly is your go-to company that will help you realize your dream. That is why you are enjoined to talk to us at You Fit Fly for seamless flight reservation, hotel reservation, educational consulting, visa processing, airport transfer, special vacation, travel insurance, holy pilgrimage, and international conferences. Visit us today at Success House, 7 Up Road, Oluyole Estate, Ring Road, Ibadan, or call 0901 111 1190. Website youfitfly.com. At You Fit Fly, your travel logistics will be sorted out seamlessly. You fit fly. Hello there.
Your comfort is important. If you're looking for quality, classy, comfortable, and imported furniture, Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise is a place for you. At Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise, we've got a wide range of top-notch imported furniture for you at affordable prices. Name it: sofas, royal marble dining sets, executive furnitures of all kinds, banquet furniture, bed and dressing mirror, kitchen cabinet, and lots more. Our intention is to make you feel comfortable always by providing quality furniture, whether at home, office, hotel, lounge and bar, and so on. Hurry now. Contact us today at Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise, shop number AA 80-20, Railway Shopping Complex, Aleshiloye Market, and shop 8A-11, Railway Shopping Line, by Alalubosa Junction, Iyaganku Railway Crossing, Ibadan. Call 0802-303-0550 or 0706-225-2649. Johnson A. Nigeria Enterprise, home of quality furniture made for you.
Law and order are essential goals of good governance in a civilized society. It is illegal and immoral to take the law into our own hands. Why take a life we cannot create? Violence, jungle justice, and mob actions are not solutions. We must stop now. Nothing justifies taking the law into our own hands. We must follow due process, report, hand over suspects to law enforcement agencies. They are established to enforce the law and ensure offenders are held accountable. Our justice system is active and working. The government remains committed in tracking down offenders and ensuring justice is served. Mob violence is never the solution. Stay alert, speak up, uphold the law. We are civilized people in Nigeria. Together, let's stand for peace, for the law and order, and for justice. Say no to mob action and jungle justice.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
All right, you're welcome back from that short commercial break. It's from the Daily Zone Solutions and 93.9 FM. This is the last lap of the program for today. And this story, another story that caught my attention. I am not leaving PDP. I didn't say that. Abubakar Atiku said that. Talking to the Board of Trustees, women of the PDP. I am not leaving PDP. But there have been speculations, and some people, even I remember Efraim Okowa, the former governor of Delta State, said it that
even Atiku.
He said that Okowa said that Atiku had confided in him that he would be leaving the PDP to another place. But Atiku has said it himself yesterday, assuring the women of PDP that he is not leaving PDP.
I read the statement of Atiku. He said he was not leaving PDP, but he and Patriots. Chocolate.
I wanted to dissect it. That's what I asked you.
Because I read and read.
Yeah, I know.
He said he was not leaving PDP, but he and Patriots, they are going to get together. He didn't say under the umbrella of PDP. But they want to rescue Nigeria from Tinubu, and they want to move Nigeria forward. So he didn't say under the.
They're saying they want to rescue Nigeria from. They make it sound as if Nigerians are under captivity under this administration.
And you know
it baffles me when they come out to say that they want to rescue Nigerians from Tinubu.
And you know, I now ask myself that, is it these people that are apparently involved in driving us into this captivity, in quotes, that now want to rescue us? They want to rescue us. The same people that drove us. Anyway, they should know the way out. They know the way they...
Oh, they know the way they drove in, so they should know the way out.
They should know the way out. But sometimes it might get complicated, you know. When you drive in, if you are driving in without knowing where you are actually driving into, you know, so it could have become a complicated matter. It will now require somebody independently, you know, that has an overview, fresh ideas too, you know. Yeah, this same, you know, that was when I read that. These same people that, which one of them?
I was going to ask you, because now looking at the caliber of people that are now teaming up to form a coalition, is it
Rufai?
Is it Nasser El-Rufai you want to talk about?
The one that called Atiku.
Is it Ali Ndume you want to talk about? Is it Atiku you want to talk about?
The Baba Ahmed.
These people and
Pastor Bakare.
Are these people, this group of people, the set of people that Nigerians will want to put their trust in once again?
They say they want to rescue us. The people that put us in bondage, you know, yesterday when I actually read, and I don't understand where it is coming from. It is fraudulent. It is dubious and very fraudulent claims. They say Atiku should not leave PDP. Atiku is not going to listen to anybody. Atiku, look, there's a pattern. Atiku single-handedly caused the damage that has led PDP to where it is now. Look, see how they started, like a joke. It was PDP that introduced the issue of zoning as an idea. And it became an acceptable idea to manage Nigeria, to, you know, to have, allow everybody to have a sense of belonging. And this same man, experienced, respected, respected network, all over the place, you know. The successor of Shehu Yaradua, the one who inherited the PDM, the movement, respected. And then they came in 2023. And then they said the zoning, they set up a committee to review the zoning. And then the committee came to no conclusion, because they came to a conclusion that let us throw it open. And of course, Atiku will win the ticket wherever he is. He did not win in 2014 because Tinubu was the decisive factor.
Definitely.
And Tinubu calculated, and he did his calculation, and he got it right. If he didn't get it right, he wouldn't be president today. So, here we are. And that Atiku, he is being driven. The pattern is clear, by individual ambition. And look at the people.
What some people would like to call selfish ambition, right?
Well, ambition is legitimate, but does it not fit the bill of what they say? Politicians think of the next election, but leaders think of the next generation. There's leadership, then there's sacrificial leadership. For God's sake. In whose interest? Must he run? And if he must run, in whose interest?
Shouldn't he know by now that probably anywhere he goes to, it might be the factor that will lead to the downfall or the failure of that?
You are looking at it from a perspective of neutrality or something like objectivity, even if objectivity is subjective. The man, when you are being driven and you are being propelled by a singular force, that won't be the conclusion.
Okay, as we wrap up, there is this tussle that has been going on between Benue State government and the House of Reps. Sometime last week, I remember in some of the dailies we read, the House of Reps, summoned Governor Ali of Benue State to which the governor said he would never go there. That he had no, and this is all boiling down on state of insecurity in that state. And our politicians spoke about what is really playing out in Benue State as regards the state of insecurity. Let's take a listen before we wrap up.
The people who served the state, the previous administration who made payments of salaries, gratuity, and pension, the people who serve the state, the previous administration who made payments of salaries, gratuity, and pensions appear like rocket science have been put to shame. Now, workers are receiving their salaries before 25th of every month. Pensioners are getting their monies, and retirees are getting their gratuities. Everything is on. Benue have been set on the path of progress. So anybody that has traveled down south and has passed Otukpo can testify the fact that the residency, the length of residency of most of the political players in Benue State is not commensurate with the development seen on ground there. There's absolutely no development in Benue South, particularly where I come from. And even in Benue State, there's a major facelift in the place. They are not just comfortable. The bane of contention or the underlying issue in the whole of this crisis is just the attempt to share state power and resources with Father Elia. Simple. There's nothing more other than that. They are already used to the status quo of fleecing public funds at the expense of the electorate or the indigents of Benue State. Father Elia came on board and said, no, it is not going to be business as usual. State resources will be channeled into the affairs of the ordinary people in the state, and that is what he's doing. They know that they cannot succeed in what they are doing, and that is why we believe strongly that they are coming by way of weaponizing insecurity.
Now, that is Daniel Onjay, a politician from Benue State, saying in essence that the offenses or the allegations against the governor is the fact that he has refused to share state resources. That is what is bringing up insecurity in the state. And that was why the House of Reps summoned him. He said he had no business with the House of Reps.
People love to put things in very simplistic, frameworks. And that, that's the easiest way to allow things to percolate into people's head. When you just put it like in simplistic, it's not sharing public funds. Those who held, the first thing he said that those who held sway yesterday made payment of salaries look like rocket science.
Rocket science. Yeah.
So is that an achievement? Even if it used to be the rocket science. So now that they are paying salaries, is that an achievement? In this country, I mean, was there any conversation about roads being tarred and salaries being paid and all of that? You understand?
Yeah.
So those who govern us now, they sing their praises. I was reading somewhere that some workers in some states will stone people who talk about the governor, all because he's doing what he was elected to do. So all of this. But you see, if you go and look at the people who instigated or are members of the committee that say the man should, people should understand their roles. I'm not even talking about power now. You might have power, you understand? It's not every time you have power and you wield the power and start knocking people on their heads. Some power that you hold, you just let them see, I have the power, don't let me use it. Or, people will readjust. And then you start summoning a chief. Don't they understand that we are in a federation?
I mean, the House of Reps summoning the governor. The governor refused to come. Now they're summoning the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Benue House of Assembly, to come and report and give his own report.
About what? I mean, all these absurdities. All of this is dynamics of election. Because those people are likely to be people that Autumn nominated and won their own elections, you understand?
Okay.
So it is dynamics of the upcoming. They are always thinking of the next election. All these things is not about the Benue people. That is what we should understand. It is about
calculated steps.
Now, the drama will soon unfold large scale between the governors and the members of the National Assembly. And then the National Assembly will start making laws to handicap the government. That was how they did in 2020, 2019. They even made laws, electoral law, to outlaw themselves from the conventions. Have you forgotten? In their attempt to muzzle the government, they even made laws and
outlaw
and trap themselves and outlaw themselves from even the convention.
All right, comrade, our time is fast spent, definitely. We've overspent our time, actually. Thank you very much, comrade Ayodele AJISOPE, for being a part of the program today.
My pleasure, always riding with you, and of course, nothing taken for granted.
Okay, that is the wrap for today. We'll be back again tomorrow morning for a fresh edition of From the Dailies on Yossi Dial Solutions and 93 the LAFENWA. My name is Adedamola LAFENWA. Let's go out there and make it a winning Wednesday. Good morning.
The views and opinions